Okay, so I just watched Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 4. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Right off the bat, I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite Bad Batch episodes. I thought it was just really well done. There was a lot of emotion in it, a lot of teasing as to the bigger story. Having Omega and Crosshair on the run was just a lot of fun. It was like a father-daughter dynamic. It was really, really cool. Seeing Omega, go and gamble and win and beats an Imperial officer, that was really cool. And, I just really liked the dynamic between Crosshair and Omega. Then on top of that, the Empire now knows about Omega's midichlorian count, and then we're going to figure out how that's going to factor into Project Necromancer. That right there is a really interesting story, and I really hope that it's explained really well, because obviously a lot of people have a problem with bringing back Palpatine in the sequel trilogy and just simply saying somehow Palpatine returned. So this show gets to essentially describe how he actually returned, and I hope it's done really well so that that line in the sequel trilogy isn't met with a lot of rolling eyes. And so far, I would say they're doing a pretty good job about it. I really like Omega as a character, and if she factors into the whole Project Necromancer, maybe she ends up dying by the end of the series. I don't know. It's just going to be a really cool story to discover in this final season of Bad Batch. There's also a big theory that Omega is going to be Force sensitive, which that would be really cool. Imagine, she ends up using the Force and taking down Hemlock and a bunch of goons in that lab and then saving Nala Se, or Nala Se dies to protect Omega. Something is going to happen. And we also know Asajj Ventress is coming back into this series, so maybe she ends up teaming with Omega in the Bad Batch to go against the Empire. That would be awesome. And then, of course, we've got to talk about that end scene, because I was in the feels, I didn't realize I liked these characters that much until that scene where Omega, after months and months and months, finally meets up with Wrecker and Hunter and the team, and just having that embrace, the hug between the characters, especially when she saw Hunter, I was like, oh man, okay, I like these characters. And then the tension and the suspense when they see that Crosshair is the person that helped Omega get back to them. That was done brilliantly. They didn't even say a word in the final part of this episode, and I cannot wait for episode 5 now to just see how they're going to interact with each other. And then, of course, we've also got to talk about the Jurassic Park references with that Imperial kind of cargo spot where they were basically gathering all of these different creatures. And then Batcha was one of those, and then they had to go rescue Batcher. Ah, man. I liked it. It was simple, it was effective, it was tightly knit. It was just a really great episode. And then that scene, too, where Omega's like, okay, fine, we'll do it your way. And then Crosshair's like, finally. And then just pop, 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 pop. Oh, awesome. So yeah, I'm going to give Season 3, Episode 4 of The Bad Batch 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good. I don't think it was quite a 9, because a 9 to me is spectacular, an episode you're going to remember forever, and I don't think it was quite there just yet. I think if they added a little bit more of Project Necromancer, maybe explain a little bit of it and hint towards the overall story a little bit more, I think it could have hit a 9. But for me, I would say it's an 8.5. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down below, and if you guys are not watching Bad Batch Season 3, you need to. It's actually really, really good.